going on, guys? All right, sorry I'm a little bit behind this week, but wanted to make sure we at least got the Thursday night game up today. The rest of the videos are being worked on. We're just going to do those offline. I'll chop them up and post them up here shortly. But again, wanted to make sure we got the Thursday night game over for you guys, talking about the Packers and the 49ers. Getting ready to kick off here in about an hour or so. So good news on the Packers front. Oops, my mic is really quiet. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I'm really off my game this week. I apologize. There we go. All right. Check. Oh, much better. Okay. All right. So as I was saying, wanted to make sure we at least got this game out for you guys. The rest of the games we will actually be posting up here pretty soon. Going to cut them offline and we'll be posting them up either tonight or into tomorrow. But wanted to make sure we at least talked about this game and give you guys a glimpse of what we expect to happen here in about an hour or so. Aaron Jones active. Looks like he is healthy and ready to go. I am firing up Aaron Jones tonight. I believe the Packers have proved to us up to this point that the Packers are very, very willing to play their players when they feel that they're healthy, and when they're not, they don't play them. So similar with Davante Adams, they could have probably played Aaron Jones last week, but they decided not to. They've been being very cautious. So I feel like if they felt like they needed to limit him, if they felt like he had any risk of re-injury, he just wouldn't play tonight. Like, the Packers are confident enough in their situation here that they wouldn't be playing Aaron Jones unless they thought that he was healthy enough. So if you have Aaron Jones, I have confidence playing him. Hopefully that ends up turning out well for us, but that is the way that I view it. So we'll get into that here in a second. I want to talk about this matchup in general. Definitely the injured matchup of the week, and a lot of COVID stuff going on, right? So for those of you that haven't been following the news, obviously Jamal Williams has been the starting running back for the Packers past couple weeks, with Aaron Jones out with that calf injury. Well, Jamal Williams is not active tonight. A.J. Dillon, the bust that he is, also decided to contract COVID over the weekend, and because Jamal Williams had close contact with him, Jamal Williams now has to sit out for 5 days because this is a Thursday night game. Jamal Williams is not active. So without Aaron Jones, the only other healthy running backs on this team are Tyler Ervin and Dexter Williams, both of those guys. I mean, Tyler Ervin maybe would have been worth a stream if Aaron Jones was not active tonight, but Dexter Williams has not earned any snaps up to this point in the season, so I do not trust him in the least, especially not against the best run defense in the league. As we can see here, 49ers are the best run defense in the league. They have been all season and still have been even the last 5 weeks. So it would be a really tough recommendation to say start anybody other than Aaron Jones, assuming Aaron Jones wasn't active. But fortunately, we don't have to make that call because Aaron Jones is active. Again, as I was saying, I totally trust the Packers offense or their training staff. When they let someone play in right now, it's because they're fully healthy. I don't expect re-injury. I don't expect him to be too limited. I mean, maybe if the Packers get out to an early lead, you'll see them bench him. But at that point, he's probably already had a pretty good game for you. The Packers are going to need Aaron Jones in this one. I'm nervous. I'm a Packers fan, for those of you that know me, and I am a little bit nervous about this game because the Packers have struggled so much, especially in San Francisco in the past. This game is in the Bay Area. Now, there's a lot of reason to have positive outlook and rosy outlook on what the Packers could do tonight, right? Because we got Jimmy Garoppolo is hurt. George Kittle is hurt. Raheem Mostert is hurt. Deebo Samuel is hurt. Brandon Ayuk is on COVID IR. Like, there isn't a single starting one of the starters from the beginning of the year pass catcher that is active on this team. I don't even think Kendrick Bourne, he was put on IR, but I feel like he had a negative test. I can't recall whether he's active or not tonight. But either way, if that's your number one receiver, that's a problem. George Kittle there. Obviously, Jordan Reed might end up having a decent night, but watch Ross Dwelly end up having more targets than Jordan Reed. Jordan Reed was only activated off of IR today, so I don't know that I necessarily trust throwing him back out there into a lineup. So this should be a shoo-in game for the Packers. It should be. Again, I'm just nervous. Like, the Packers have had a very rich history of getting demolished by the 49ers offense, but this is not the 49ers offense of yesterday, but even 2 years ago, we saw the Packers defense get destroyed by a Nick Mullens led 49ers on I believe it was a Monday night game. I'm nervous. I'm nervous for the Packers, but I think they can still pull it out. I think they'll still cover the 7-point spread. Obviously on defense, the Packers' biggest weakness, and by far the biggest weakness of any team in the NFL, is they're giving up points to the running backs. That's been the problem for a while. Obviously, that was a huge problem in the playoffs for them last year, where Raheem Mostert went nuclear against them. So this is going to be pretty much the only people are going to recommend starting on the 49ers side would be any of their running backs, whereas the 49ers defense has still held up pretty well, even though they've had a lot of injuries here. But with Aaron Rodgers, you're still going to be able to be comfortable starting the main guys here. So in terms of who we're starting sitting, it's going to be pretty easy to discuss. If we're looking at the over-under for this game, it's probably not going to be that high scoring. 48.5, I think, is even a little bit optimistic, especially considering the amount of injuries and COVID guys on IR for the 49ers. I expect this to be a lower scoring game. I got the under in this one for sure. Packers favored to win this one by 7. So in terms of who we're starting, on the Packers side, I think you can still start Rodgers. Aaron Jones, as we mentioned in the lead-up, for those of you just joining now, Aaron Jones is still someone that I'm pretty excited about starting this week, just due to the fact that the Packers medical staff has really proven to us at this point that if a guy is active, he's ready to play. I don't expect them to really limit his workload. Again, if the Packers get out to an early lead, maybe we see them take Jones off the field, but at that point, he's probably already given you a pretty decent fantasy day. I've got no qualm starting him. He's in my top 10 running backs this week. Davante Adams, of course, you're starting him every single week. There's no reason not to. We were thinking that maybe Will Fuller would end up being able to play alongside him, but the Packers are cowards and they don't actually make any trades because they were too afraid to give away a second-round pick so they could go draft another A.J. Dillon in the world rather than get a guy like Will Fuller. Cowards. But anyway, that's good news for Davante Adams for fantasy. He's going to get a ton of targets like he always does. Even against the tough 49ers defense, Davante Adams is still a great play. Robert Tonyan, decent play as well. He hasn't been as stable ever since Davante Adams came back, but he still gives you a decent shot at a touchdown. That's what you want from a tight end. I think he can play the Packers defense in this one. They're just missing so many starters at this point. Watch them still get 5,000 rushing yards against them. Obviously, you can just tell how bitter I am about this particular game, but I still think the Packers defense is a decent play this week. Top 10, and not forcing them into my lineup if I have a better one, but if you're looking for a streaming option, I think they're okay. I'm not playing Ervin. I'm not playing Dexter Williams. I really think this is going to be the Aaron Jones show, and Marquez Valdez-Scantling has been terrible up to this point, so why would you trust him? On the 49ers side, JaMycal Hasty is the only guy I'm actually comfortable starting. Jerick McKinnon, you could talk me into flexing him in a deeper league or a PPR league where you really, really, really need to come up, if you're splitting hairs between Jerick McKinnon and Wayne Gallman. Probably going to go with Jerick McKinnon just because this is a better matchup. Again, as I've mentioned, the Packers are giving up the most fantasy points to opposing running backs out of every team in the NFL right now. So likely we could see both JaMycal Hasty and Jerick McKinnon play more. Obviously, Jerick McKinnon is a bit more involved in the pass game. So based on what we're expecting of the game script, it might actually make sense for Jerick McKinnon to have the better game. The reason why I think I have Hasty a little bit stronger is because I don't necessarily expect the Packers to give us the game script that we're expecting. I think this will end up being a close game. And if that's the case, I think JaMycal Hasty will see the goal line carries. I think I will see the majority of the carries and could break off a few long runs. So I'll play Hasty, and you could talk me into playing McKinnon. Jordan Reed maybe ends up having a big game, but first day off of IR, I'd probably rather avoid putting him into my lineup. I'm not playing Nick Mullens. I'm not playing any of the 49ers wide receivers, and I don't think there would be enough mistakes on the Packers side for you to really warrant playing the 49ers defense. All in all, even though I am a bit paranoid, I do have the Packers still winning this game by 8. Got them winning 28-20. But anyway, let's see. I would still play Aaron Jones over Michael Hasty, Renzo. Aaron Jones, to me, as I've mentioned a bunch of times in this video, I think that the Packers have shown us religiously up to this point that if their player is healthy enough to play, then that's when he becomes active. And if he's active, you want to play Aaron Jones. On Hasty's side, we still have the problem with potentially this turning into a blowout, and then McKinnon ends up being the guy that gets the majority of the snaps there, or just sees all the receiving work if the 49ers are getting routed. So I feel like Aaron Jones is definitely the safer play and has more upside. Which Robert are you talking about, Justin? Are you talking about Tonyan? Robert Tonyan? I would play Tonyan over Jordan Reed tonight. Oh, and it's funny that you asked the question about Antonio Brown or Jonathan Taylor at flex, because I actually am trying to make that same decision right now in a league that I'm in. Currently, I have Jonathan Taylor ranked above Antonio Brown. I just don't feel good about it. I feel like Antonio Brown is going to come out and smash immediately. I want to see practice reports for the rest of the week, especially tomorrow, for Jonathan Taylor to see like how serious this ankle injury actually is. In a PPR league, I'd probably be leaning Antonio Brown slightly. The league I'm talking about is a half PPR. So yeah, I'd probably go with Antonio Brown. It sucks, and I really hope Jonathan Taylor turns things around, and I think he will. I think Jonathan Taylor is like a massive buy low right now, someone I'd be actually going after if I could get him for really cheap, but I'm not going to be like spending any significant assets on him because there's a chance that he is just a bum this year, and we're hoping for him to turn things around in 2021. Let's see. Should I start Jordan Reed or Jonnu Smith? I would play Jonnu Smith. I know Jonnu hasn't been getting nearly the work that you've been hoping for, but he still has explosive upside every single week. And I don't know how they're going to use Jordan Reed first week back from IR. He's just so injury prone. I'm very concerned for Jordan Reed. JaMycal Hasty or DJ Dallas is a frustrating call because you have to make the decision tonight versus waiting. Let me check my rankings real quick and make sure I'm giving you guys the right information here. I believe I have Hasty over DJ Dallas just because there's still a chance that some of the other running backs for the Seahawks are active this week. Obviously, we don't know yet whether Chris Carson will go this week. Currently, I have them ranked right next to each other, and I have DJ Dallas at 19, Hasty at 20. But considering the fact that you don't have the ability to wait and see if DJ Dallas ends up going this week, I would probably play Hasty tonight. It's a good matchup. He's been getting double-digit carries. This is, obviously the best matchup you can get. Could be a rough game script for Hasty, but considering you don't have the ability to wait and see if DJ Dallas will end up being the main guy again, I'd probably just go with Hasty to avoid that risk. So the question of starting Stafford or Lamar would be pretty easy if Stafford is actually missing this week. He's currently on the COVID IR list. I don't know whether that's due to a positive test or due to a close contact. They've been a little less forthcoming with information recently, and with the massive amount of people that have been placed on the COVID IR list this week, it's getting really hard to keep track of everything, not to mention everything else that's been going on in the world this week. It's been a very, very difficult week for paying attention to all this stuff. But as it stands right now, Matthew Stafford is not going to be eligible to play. He is currently on the COVID IR list. So that might make the answer easy for you. I'd probably still play Lamar even if Stafford ends up being active. But yeah, let's stick with Lamar for now. Any who would be the starters for the 49ers for the wide receivers. What is his name? Richie James, I think, is going to end up being the wide receiver one. It doesn't matter for fantasy purposes. You can't trust any single wide receiver for the 49ers. If you want to put a pass catcher, it needs to either be Jordan Reed or Ross Dwelley, I would really only trust the tight ends in this matchup. We have no idea who Nick Mullens is going to favor, and with all three of Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Kendrick Bourne not playing tonight, I ain't touching anyone in that wide receiver core there for the 49ers. The Packers have a really strong secondary and should be able to shut the 49ers passing game down. So I'm just not touching them. I would not start Tyler Ervin, CJ. I think Aaron Jones is healthy enough. Is going to get the majority of the work. I don't see Tyler Ervin seeing more than maybe like 5 or 7 touches. And against a tough 49ers defense, he could end up like being like a 2 or 3 point guy this night, and it could completely burn you tonight. So I would not trust Tyler Ervin with Aaron Jones active. Yes, Nick, since you're joining now, Aaron Jones is active, and I would play him. Yeah, I don't know about Trent Taylor either. He's been so bad up to this point that I wouldn't really trust him either. I think he is active. I don't think I saw his name on the COVID list. Again, so many people were thrown onto the COVID list for this game. I truly thought that they were going to postpone it. I really think they should have pushed it up to Monday night and just done a doubleheader like they've done in the past, considering the 49ers didn't even get a chance to do their walkthrough yesterday. But, I mean, that's just what the NFL is doing right now. They're just trying to grind it out and not slow down at all. So, yeah, I'm just don't play any 49ers receiver tonight. If any of them go off, cool. But there's absolutely no way of predicting. Like, if anyone says they know this wide receiver is going to go off for the 49ers, they're completely pulling your leg. And if they get it right, it's complete dumb luck. I'm not playing any 49ers receiver tonight. I do think there's a chance that McKinnon would score 10 PPR points tonight if the Packers can actually get out to an early lead and the 49ers have to throw the ball a little bit. And Nick Mullens isn't the worst quarterback in the world. I think they've been showing us that they prefer Hasty more than McKinnon at this point. So I think McKinnon has probably a higher range of outcomes in terms of his total score than Hasty does. But definitely, if you're playing McKinnon tonight, you have to anticipate that his floor is like 2 points. So just be ready for that potential if you start McKinnon. It's a boom-bust play. Ridley or Thielen, I think Ridley's going to be out this week, so I'm going to take Thielen. I don't even have Ridley ranked at this point. If I did have him ranked, considering he's playing the Broncos, I'd probably still have Thielen above him. If Emmanuel Sanders is active this week, I would play him because I still don't know that we're going to see Michael Thomas come back. Karn. That one's easy. Yadavir. I'm picking Antonio Brown and DJ Dallas all day. Even if Chris Carson is back, he could be limited. Let's see. I play Aaron Jones over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I played Tonyan over Reed. I agree. I think a blowout definitely would benefit McKinnon. I just, as a pessimistic Packers fan, I don't necessarily believe that the Packers will blow out the 49ers. There was a situation 2 years ago where the Packers were playing the 49ers with Nick Mullens and a bunch of other injuries, and they still let that game become very close. So I don't know. I think the 49ers want to use Hasty more. If they can stay competitive, if this ends up being a closer game than you're expecting, I think McKinnon could disappoint. But if the Packers can get out to an early lead, which is possible, then I think McKinnon would actually end up having a pretty good shot at putting 10, 15 points up. I'd play Hasty over Tonyan. I'm not going to play tight ends. Rarely would I play a tight end over a running back. But yeah, so again, pessimism here. You got to understand this is a Packers fan that's watched the 49ers absolutely murder my team for multiple years now. So I'm really hoping that tonight we can exact a little revenge, hit them while they're hurting, and hopefully this ends up being a blowout. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, dude, I know the John Brown is playing the Seahawks. He's been so hurt and gimpy over the past couple weeks. I'm nervous. And okay, let me put it this way. If Michael Thomas plays, then I'll probably play John Brown. I just don't think Michael Thomas is going to be active for this week. So considering that, Sanders could end up getting, another 10, 15 target kind of game. And I think he gives you a much safer play than John Brown. Because at this point, John Brown really hasn't been himself since week 3, week 4. So that's why I'm leaning Sanders. But Sanders, I don't even think he's been activated off of the COVID IR list. So it might make the choice easy for you again. There's so many people on the COVID IR list this week. I don't know what happened to the safety protocols. I think I don't know what's happening. It's really bad this week. So definitely monitor, make sure the guys that you have on your starting lineup don't have a little C next to their name, because there's a lot of people on COVID IR this week. It's hard to know whether Aaron Jones will actually be limited. I don't think he will be. He looked like super spry. I don't know if you guys saw it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, Aaron Jones had come into he came into the stadium wearing a sombrero tonight. I don't know if you can really see that great, but considering how he's feeling, I'm going to stick with Aaron Jones. He's definitely shown up enough at this point that he plays really strong in any chance that he gets. So considering the Packers have been incredibly conservative with his injury up to this point, I'm going to trust that Aaron Jones is healthy enough to play tonight, and I think that he'll end up being, at least a worthy of a top 10 play in PPR. All right, let's see what else we got. nuts! I have Zach Moss and Gus Edwards, but I feel McKinnon has a good game due to circumstances. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things too. Zach Moss has been coming alive, but he's playing the Seahawks. Gus Edwards, I mean, I don't know. I would probably still roll with Zach Moss or Gus Edwards, but if you want to play somebody tonight that has a decent shot at upside, I won't stop you from doing it. McKinnon definitely could be good. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm just nervous. 2 weeks in a row of really, really low performance. Watch him end up putting up 40 points tonight. I guess that's like his range of outcomes. He can either put up 30 or he can put up like 2. So if you're comfortable with the low ends and you want to shoot for the moon, I definitely think you could do that. Let's see. Yeah, I know. Like there's so many injuries at this point, and the COVID list is really what ends up making things even worse. Like it's been incredibly difficult to monitor this week with, I mean, just tons of people being thrown on there. So if Emmanuel Sanders doesn't play, then again that makes your thing really, really easy. But anyway, game is gonna be starting soon, so I think I've covered most of this, guys. We'll post up the rest of the videos for the week here in a little bit. Sorry, I've been behind. I've been, I'll just admit, I've been sweating over the election all week. I've just been watching the results there, and it's been very hard to focus. So I need to focus in, get the videos up for the rest of the starts and sits this week. So be on the lookout for those. If you have any questions there, you can always check with me there, or you can check out the website, fantasyaddictionnetwork.com. I got my rankings posted there. I'll be updating those throughout the week. So if you guys have start-sit questions, that should probably answer it for you. And then Nathan just joining in. We've already talked about it a bunch. You can go back, but I would play Aaron Jones over Hasty this week. Got another question. Christopher, Hasty, Justin Jackson, or Chase Claypool? Man, that's a tough call. I'd probably still go Hasty, but Claypool is definitely interesting. So check the rankings on fantasyaddictionnetwork.com. That should help you out. But anyway, I got to get going. Got to record the other videos. But thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next video.